morning, or whatever moment you're listening from, and welcome to the Early Learning Lounge, your Monday morning reframe. I'm your host, Tammy Nucci, and today's episode is a little different. This week, as we recognize International Women's Day and reflect during Women's History Month, I found myself thinking about the women who shaped my understanding of strength and leadership. Women who carried families through hardship, women who stood beside others when life felt heavy, women who continued to show up with kindness and courage even when life asked more of them than seemed possible. And the more I reflected on these women, the more I realized something powerful. Some of the strongest leaders I have ever known have never even held a leadership title. They have never asked for recognition. They simply show up. And in early learning, we see this every single day. Women nurturing curiosity, women advocating for children, women creating spaces where children feel safe, seen, and capable, often quietly and often without recognition, but always with profound impact. So today's episode is called She, the Women Who Shape Early Learning, a reflection on the women who shaped my life and the women who shape the lives of children every single day. And when I think about the women who shaped my understanding of strength, compassion, and leadership, my mind first goes to my grandmother. She was one of the most beautiful souls I've ever known. She carried a light that touched everyone around her, a quiet kindness, a deep love for people. Her life was not without heartbreak. She lost 2 of her sons, including my father, and yet even though unimaginable grief, she continued to shine light on everyone around her. Her kindness never dimmed. This, to me, is what strength looks like. I think about my mother, a woman who raised 3 children on her own. Her life was not easy. There were struggles that many people never saw, but she persevered. Through everything, she made sure we were taken care of and that we knew we were loved. Most of all, I think about my daughter. In her first 2 decades of life, she has already accomplished remarkable things. Watching her grow into a young woman just fills me with unsurmountable pride. She is kind, she is thoughtful, she's intelligent, and she carries a quiet confidence that tells me she will lead in her own way. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge one more woman in this story, myself. My childhood was not always easy. Life handed me many challenges early, and losing my dad at 22 was one of the hardest moments I had ever faced. But those experiences shaped me. They taught me resilience, they taught me empathy, they taught me how to keep showing up with strength and kindness, and today, I am proud of the woman I've become. Still learning, still growing, still choosing to lead with heart, and to me, this is what strength looks like. And then there's my circle. A circle filled with extraordinary women whose strength has shaped the way I understand resilience. There is she who survived a tragic car accident, the sole survivor. For years, she fought to recover. Watching her fight her way back was nothing short of remarkable. The fact that she is here today still feels like a miracle. And through everything she endured, she remains one of the kindest, strongest, most giving women I know. There is she who experienced the loss no parent should have ever endured. The loss of a child far too early in life. The kind of pain that radiates so deeply that I could always feel it even from afar. And yet she continues forward with grace and strength. There is she who became a mother very young. Her daughter was born with a serious disability, and from the very beginning, she gave her whole heart to caring for her. For 12 years, she poured everything she had into giving her daughter the very best life possible. And when her daughter passed, she carried a loss no parent should ever have to carry. And beside her through it all was she, the woman who stood beside her daughter with unwavering love, a woman who also faced the unimaginable loss of not only 1, but 2 grandchildren. And yet she remains steady, kind, and full of love. Their strength, their devotion, their love, this is what strength looks like. There is she who lost her husband far too young and later her father, and still she remains full of life, strong and anchored for her family. There is she who lost her mother so young and carries that quiet absence through life's milestones. Yet she continues to build a beautiful life for her family. There is she who carries every day for her child, her husband, and two very frail parents. She often feels like she isn't doing enough, but the truth is she's always been more than enough. There is she who left everything familiar behind. She moved to a new country with 5 children, carrying hope, courage, and determination. She built a life from the ground up so her children could have opportunities that she never had. Her sacrifice shaped generations. This is what strength looks like. And then there's she whose story is my story. We have faced so much side by side since day one, and we always will. Sisters by chance, friends by choice. And there is she and she and she, the women who walk beside me every single day. My women at work, my women in life, my women in play. You know who you are, and I honor you, I appreciate you, and I love you. You make me smile, you make my life feel full, and to the many women in my family and life whose stories I didn't share in depth today, you know who you are. Your strength and love are part of this story and journey too. Because these women don't seek recognition. They don't ask for praise. But every single day they show up with courage, compassion, and love. And that is what strength looks like. And this is where I want to offer this week's reframe. When many people think about leadership, they imagine something loud, like authority and power and recognition. And when I think about leadership, I think about these women who've kept showing up even when life has asked more of them than seems possible. Women who lift others, women who hold families together, women who lead quietly but powerfully. The more I reflect on this, the more I believe this. Leadership is feminine. It is relational, it is compassionate, and it is resilient. She leads. And the more I reflect on the women in my life, the more I see that same strength in early learning every single day. Educators showing up, carrying their own stories, their own challenges, their own lives, and still they create spaces where children feel safe, valued, and capable. They nurture curiosity. They advocate for children. They build relationships with families. Much of these leadership happens so quietly and without applause, without recognition, but yet enormous impact. This is what strength looks like. Behind every child who feels seen, safe, and capable, there is a woman who helped them believe they could be. A woman who listened, a woman who encouraged, a woman who believed in them before they believed in themselves. And somewhere years from now, a child will remember you. They may not remember the lesson, they may not remember the activity, but they will remember how you made them feel. And if you're listening today, somewhere in someone's story, you are she. Thank you for joining me today in the Early Learning Lounge. Remember, the hustle is real, the grind is constant, but the heart, your heart, is what makes it all matter. Until next week, don't forget to refill your cup.